$100 million in jury verdicts and settlements for serious injury victims, medical malpractice victims, and surviving family members of wrongful death victims. Trial Lawyers for Justice. This is a firm that does not handle frivolous lawsuits. They go after insurance company money, and they're darn good at it. They don't sell their clients out or settle cheaply. Trial Lawyers for Justice, the firm that goes the distance for you, their client. They treat their clients the way you would want your own family members taken care of. Nicholas Rowley, Dominic Pachota, and the other trial lawyers in the firm at Trial Lawyers for Justice, dedicated to representing the people and their families in Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Illinois, California, Wyoming, and many other states. Trial Lawyers for Justice. $100 million in settlements and jury verdicts already in 2016. 888-811-0844. Trial Lawyers for Justice.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard. Trillion-dollar sports business, and it is the time of mega events. A couple of weeks ago, we were in L.A. for the All-Star Game and the 100th anniversary of the NHL. Incredible celebration. The next week, Super Bowl 51, which was probably, by all accounts, the best Super Bowl, if not best football game ever played. Don't tell that to the Falcons, but that's the way it is. After that, we take a bit of a week off and then head to New Orleans for the NBA All-Star Game, All-Star Weekend. This weekend, a game that was destined in the weekend for Charlotte, but the bathroom bill and the transgender issues derailed it. They'll get it back. And then Daytona 500, spring training, March Madness, Final Four in Phoenix, Masters. Yeah, we're at that time of year. And it's mega events. That's what we're all talking about. The economic impact, the significant political impact, the $3.5 billion of awareness you can't buy as publicity, says Rick Campo. We'll be hearing from him in a couple of minutes. Who is Rick Campo and who is Jamie Roots? President of the Houston Texans and the head of the Houston Coast Committee, respectively. Why do we do that now, a week and a half after the Super Bowl? Because major events transcend any one. When you listen to the organizing committee, the successful events need a couple of elements. They need a team that is a gracious host. The New Orleans Pelicans would have been the Charlotte Hornets, the Houston Texans, the Arizona State University Sun Devils as we get into the Final Four. You always have that infrastructure that's necessary. Then a facility, the market, the organizational committee, the Houston Host Committee, Rick Campo, the head of it, real estate guy. We'll talk to him about why he did what he did, the economic impact for Houston, $100 million or more. The game, as we know, came off without a hitch, and even more important, on the field, maybe the greatest game ever. So we'll have Bust, Boom, and Hope at the end, but now we talk to Rick Campo, the head of the Houston Host Committee, institutionalized at Super Bowl 51, but you'll be hearing from him about the voice of regular rotating major events, and Jamie Roots, the president of the Houston Texans.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing new author submission kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
Why fight the traffic to Tahoe only to stand in long lift lines when you can cruise on up I-5 to Mount Shasta and ski and stay for the price of a Tahoe lift ticket? Weekday packages start at $75 per person per night at Mount Shasta Resort. No traffic, no long lift lines, no watching your back for out-of-control skiers. Magnificent Mount Shasta is the perfect family ski resort. Visit MountShastaResort.com or call 530-926-3030 for more details. 530-926-3030 now.
1 in 3 relationships start online, and more start on Match than any other dating site. So if you're single and looking to meet people, you've got to get on Match. They're not only number 1 in first dates, but in second dates too. Meeting your match has never been easier. Just go to Match.com/together, and for a limited time, you can try Match for 7 days free. That's 7 days completely free to search and connect with thousands on Match. So go ahead, create your account now at Match.com/together. That's Match.com/together.
Here comes the decision now. Let's listen.
Clarity in the world of professional boxing is spelled WBO. That's right, the World Boxing Organization is boxing's only transparent sanctioned body. You can follow the WBO on Facebook or check out their website, WBOboxing.com. That's WBOboxing.com. The World Boxing Organization.
Has done it! We have a new heavyweight champion of the world!
iHeartRadio, an app so powerful, it holds 20 million songs from 450,000 artists. Thousands of the best live radio stations, custom stations, and stations created just for you. It's anywhere and it's everywhere. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download the app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Connected? Good. That's normal Facebook. See, normally Facebook, it's the technological age, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the sports professor, Rick Horrow, and this is another Facebook installment. We are live at the Brown Convention Center, Super Bowl 51 in Houston, Texas, with some of the more important people who are really the architects, pioneers of what will be successful Super Bowl 51 in Houston. But before I start, I just want to tell you, you know what these are? These are Super Bowl tickets. We'll get into that in a few minutes, and here's the thing you need to remember. I have them, and you don't. And let me tell you what else. Face value, easy check, not secondary market. This is not the NFL deal that they cut. This is not StubHub. Anybody want to take a guess what the face value says? $3,200. We're going to talk today about what that does for a community, what that does for fans, what that does for corporate people. And a good friend for a long time, one of the people who's really on board in developing this from his original role, Greater Houston Partnership, where he chaired the Houston Texans president, and an all-around good guy, Jamie Roots. How's that for an intro?
That's great.
That really
good to be with you. It's really a pleasure to have you in town.
Yeah, really. Okay, now sometimes he's gratuitous and sometimes he's serious. We're just going to have to figure out which one it is. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations for what you don't think I'm telling you about, which is Clemson winning the National Football
Championship. That was pretty special. So it's been a good month for me so far.
Well, it's been a good month for you, and notwithstanding the Texans are not here on the field, they were in the playoffs. Right. And so let me just talk for a second about what the club's role is in putting a successful rollout like this on the field. What are the Texans doing?
Well, the entirety of our organization has been involved ever since we got the Super Bowl about 3 years ago, but I'll back up just a little bit before that. Yeah. The league invites cities to participate in the bidding process. And we were asked to participate for Super Bowl 50 and Super Bowl 51. We weren't able to participate in 50 because we had the NCAA Final Four, but we could for 51, and we prevailed over Miami, right, who was the competition. And I'll tell you, one of the key things that matters in the bid, certainly you got the city, right? You have the stadium, you have the transportation and infrastructure, all the pieces of that, but it is about the owner as well. Yeah. Bob McNair is one of the most respected owners in the National Football League, serves as the chair of the Finance Committee, and so their respect for him was part of that decision. After that point, I've served as the deputy chairman of the Super Bowl host committee, and our staff has been integrally involved in helping to make it happen, working with the host committee, being the bridge with the National Football League, and it's really made for a pretty spectacular Super Bowl production so far.
common misconception that we will clear up yet again as an extension of our Facebook that we did in L.A. at the NHL All-Star Game, where we asked the same question to AEG about what's in it for the Kings.
Yeah.
Basically, what's in it for the Texans? You don't make money off it, but there are certainly significant attaboy community benefits.
Well, it's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't do it unless there was some kind of purpose within your organization that you were fulfilling. We talk about three things: win championships, create memorable experiences, and do great things for Houston. And the Super Bowl brings $350 million in economic impact, 140,000 out-of-town visitors, and they're not just the run-of-the-mill type visitor to the community. Yeah. These are the opinion leaders of the world. It served as the ultimate deadline for us to complete projects that we needed to for a long time to make sure that Houston would shine like never before, and 3.5 billion media impressions. If we don't step up, bid for the Super Bowl, and then work with the host committee to make it great, Houston doesn't realize those benefits. So a strong Houston is great for the Houston Texans.
Let's talk about the economic impact, because there are a number of cynics, and I was working in that space for a while, but everybody jousts for that last paragraph in the Wall Street Journal that talks about economic impact, and they talk about how it doesn't exist because money is fungible. If you spend it on movies, you spend it here. 140,000 people are in town that would not be in town but for this game.
That's right. And it's all, I mean, this is incremental impact. I mean, all of the displaced elements are factored in. So I don't know. I mean, you can argue what the exact number is. It's a big number. But the more important thing is the opportunity for us to get our community together like it's never been before, right? Create, I mean, you look at Discovery Green, the Hilton Americas, Marriott Marquis, the George R. Brown Convention Center, $3 million of investment out at NRG Park to improve the environs. Last 2 years, $40 million of investment in NRG Stadium. Our airports, I could go on, Midtown, et cetera. But all of those improvements are going to pay dividends for Houston for a generation.
Right.
That's priceless.
And the other priceless part that I know academics find very difficult to quantify, and you mentioned the 3.5 billion impressions. If you had to, as a PR agency, quantify how much you would spend to get those 3.5 billion impressions, how much money would you spend?
The only thing I know for sure is it wouldn't show up in my calculator, right? There'd be that many zeros.
Right.
But it's particularly important for Houston because 4 years ago, I mean, I was, as part of the partnership, created a branding campaign, a positioning campaign for Houston, the city with no limits. Houston's the most diverse city in America, diverse in terms of the people, the culture, the arts and entertainment, et cetera. Houston is a fun and affordable city, and all of these fun things are available to everyone. If you want to do it, you can find it in Houston. And number three, Houston has this can-do spirit. Yeah. If you can dream it, you can do it in Houston. So these last 4 years, as part of this Super Bowl run-up, we have been putting in place everything that would demonstrate that brand. And so I would see, really, Super Bowl is a crescendo of that repositioning. Houston is the next great global city. And Super Bowl 51 weekend will be remembered as the point in time when we took our seat at the table of great global cities.
And by the way, just a little editorialization here. We've known Jamie for a long time from his history with the Columbus Crew and otherwise. And if you, and NBA in Indiana, et cetera, if you would have heard him say crescendo of repositioning years ago, it would be like, what does that mean? But he's intense, he's passionate, and he's really into this. And you're proud of this, aren't you?
We are. All of us are very proud of our city. And I haven't even mentioned what's the secret sauce of Houston. Yeah. It's the people. Yeah. You know, the word Texas in Spanish is Tejas. It comes from an Indian word meaning friendship. So from the founding of Texas, the founding of Houston, building friendships is what we're all about. And I know people coming in from across the globe, they're experiencing that one by one in the interactions that they have with people. Our hope is people go back and tell their friends about what a great community this is. I hope the images that are beamed out from Houston, like this one, is showing this the beauty of this city. We are the next great global city, and we're taking our place.
Why is there, controversy because people want controversy, but I know there's an annual discussion about sales tax forgiveness and what it means and why do you do it. Well, part of the answer, obviously, is you wouldn't be here but for.
Sure.
But there is a negotiated NFL bid process, and you participate in that.
Yeah, that's right. And it is the most competitive beauty pageant among cities that there is. Right. The biggest annual sporting event on the planet. Everyone wants it. And the league knows that. So you have to either step up and provide the support and infrastructure and accommodations that are required, or you don't get the game. And for us, again, for Houston, for any city, it's great. But for Houston, this is our chance to reshape perceptions. The perceptions of Houston that have existed are from 1980, 1985. You remember the urban cowboy, right? John Travolta. People think Houston is still like that. We're not like that. We have a diverse economy. We're the most diverse city in America. We have world-class amenities. We're the culinary capital of the South. And so there's a Smash Mouth song. You remember the band Smash Mouth, right?
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Well, All Star is the name of the song. And there's a line in there that says, only shooting stars break the mold. In order to reshape perception, we had to have a seminal event like Super Bowl. And I want to tell you, Rick Campo, who you'll talk to in a few minutes, has done the best job of leading this type of effort that has ever been done. And we could not have had that repositioning without his leadership.
Before we talk to Rick and before we finalize some of the issues about where the Greater Houston Partnership is and host committee, sing that line.
Which line? Oh,
sing it.
Only shooting stars break the mold. I'm not a singer.
Yeah,
I am an administrator.
Clearly, you're not a singer. That was great. We're going to rack that up, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see that 4 million times. That was pretty good.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return to Rick Horrow's Beyond the Scoreboard, we will finish up this interview, part 2, and then delve into more from Horrow's live broadcast after the Super Bowl.
Hey there, travelers. You going somewhere? Need a hotel? Then call Hotel Wiz anytime, day or night, for rates too low to publish. You can save up to 75% on over 500,000 hotels across the globe and get our best price guarantee with no booking or cancellation fees ever. We've got some of the lowest hotel prices you'll find in New York, Chicago, Las Vegas, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and a lot more. Don't waste your time surfing for deals. Make a free call right now and find deals too low to publish. Save up to 75% right now with no cancellation fees. And to make it even easier on you, we're here 24/7 to help. So call right now. Bookmark us in your cell phone. Whatever you need to do, just pick up the phone and call this number for hotel deals that'll knock your socks off.
800-507-3777. 800-507-3777. 800-507-3777. 800-507-3777.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Do you have an old car sitting in your driveway? How would you like to learn a hassle-free way to get rid of it, help kids in need, and get a great tax donation in the process? It's real easy. One simple free call to our car donation hotline is all it takes. Call the Nishama Foundation at 800-760-4895, 800-760-4895. We'll come pick your car up for free and give you a tax donation for the full value of the car, running or not. The value of your unwanted car will go to help kids in need. It's fast and easy. Just call us and your car will be gone and on its way to helping children in 48 hours. And you get a nice tax deduction. Call the Nishama Foundation now to get rid of your car, help kids, and get a tax write-off. Call 800-760-4895. 800-760-4895. 800-760-4895. That's 800-760-4895.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. As promised, we return from where we left off. Rick Horrow's live broadcast at the Super Bowl.
Final question about very good. Final question about the balance sheet. The Texans, do you do a kind of an incremental analysis of the amount of extra staff work it's going to take and how you deal with your suite holders who are a little upset because they don't get their normal? I mean, there are a lot of things that are on the table that you trade off for community benefits, and you're not whining. I'm just asking you the question.
No, we don't run those numbers because at the end of the day, there's a guy named Viktor Frankl who wrote a book, Man's Search for Meaning. Okay, and he was a concentration camp survivor. And he talked about, it was really a book about the power of purpose. He said, the man that has a what to live for can endure almost any how. So that notion of win championships, create memorable experiences, and do great things for Houston. As an organization, we don't add all that stuff up. Yeah. That's what we're going after. Super Bowl was a chance to do something very special for Houston. Nobody but us could do it. And so whatever the price is, doesn't matter anymore. It's because this is who we are. We want to make Houston great.
Houston partnership issues, you've been involved in that and will continue to be involved in that.
Right.
Is this an institutionalized group of civic leaders who started with the Final Four, here, Super Bowl, other sporting activities, but also see how it fits in the overall urban fabric of the community?
Well, I will tell you that the Greater Houston Partnership has had a role in all of those things. Tony Chase, who is a board member with me at the Greater Houston Partnership, a former chair, was the chairman of our local organizing committee for the Final Four. And I can't say that all of this was intentional. We knew the Super Bowl was out there. We knew we wanted to have this repositioning of Houston, so it was an intentional effort. The great thing about Houston is there's no I, me, mine, yours. We're all in it for Houston. We leverage the power of teamwork. This weekend, we will present the Super Bowl trophy, and you know whose name is on that, right?
Yeah.
Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi said, individual commitment to a collective purpose. That's what makes a team work. That's what makes an organization work. That's what makes society work. And that's what makes civilization work. Let me tell you, that's what makes Houston work. We all saw this as this incredible opportunity, and everybody aligned against NCAA Final Four. Then we hosted Copa America. We hosted the Advocare Texas kickoff with the University of Houston in Oklahoma. Sold out. Sold out. Was the biggest game on the biggest opening college football weekend in history. And then we ended with the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl with Texas A&M and Kansas State, another marquee crowd. So all year long, we've had these opportunities to show off Houston, but none more important than the Super Bowl.
When are you running, and how can I move to Houston to vote for you?
I haven't run in a week. I'm going to try to run tomorrow morning. I know that's not what you were talking about.
And nor is he going to answer that
question. But that's the only kind of running that I'm going to be doing.
It, definitely. So final issue, too. So here is a guy, who was born in Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So Falcon fan? No, I'm a Houston guy. Yes, Falcon fan?
Grown up. Here's the cool thing, right? So the Falcons get into the Super Bowl. Yeah. All of these memories come flying back to me. My first ever National Football League game with my father, the Atlanta Falcons against the Houston Oilers, Earl Campbell at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Yeah. That's what makes this game so special. I mentioned we're the most diverse city in America. And nothing brings us together like the game of football.
And now, for future NFL and Super Bowls, you get to go, we get to go, everybody gets to go to Minnesota, then Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, which is going to be beautiful.
Absolutely.
And then the whole L.A. situation where, if the Raiders don't work, there'll be 9 teams there.
Yeah.
Well,
and I hope for each of those trips, there are 53 gentlemen in deep steel blue, Liberty white, and battle red of the Houston Texans coming with me.
Well, there is Jamie Roots. So Jamie Roots is we know he's a soccer aficionado. national champion soccer player, Clemson.
Twice.
Excuse me, twice.
Well, just have to clarify. I want to get the record right.
National
this is
champion, it is. National champion, Clemson twice. Indiana MBA, Atlanta guy. But he also sings, he administers. I don't know what you don't do.
I run.
You, pal. You
Rick,
run.
good to be with you.
Thanks very much. That was awesome. Next victim is probably the guy who, not probably, works hand in hand with you, Jamie.
Absolutely.
Really.
Let me tell you, Rick
yeah.
is one of the great leaders of our community. And one of the great parts of the Super Bowl experience is Discovery Green and Super Bowl Live. Rick not only had the key role in Super Bowl Live, but all of these great buildings that have made it so special. So he's a good friend.
We will continue with this Love Fest right now, Act 2, and it should be.
You got all my lines.
Hey man, I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, my friend. The beauty of Facebook Live is that we can be informal and describe what this is really about.
I don't know what to say. He took all my lines.
No, we're going to do it from your perspective too,
I know,
because he is a Jamie Roots is a sports marketing and management guy from Clemson, but Rick Campo, by the way, the CEO of Camden Properties Trust for 14 years, and unless I got wrong.
It's more like 30. But
what's the 14? Oh, that's probably with a name change, but you've been in the real estate business for 30 years.
Absolutely.
Even more.
Well, 40 actually, but
40. And by the way, just as we continue this, we're in case you wanted to know why we were kind of kicked out of other places, we did this on purpose. This is the ballroom where Commissioner Goodell held his press conference on Wednesday. We're panning, and this is where a lot of the NFL stuff. You may not care about Roger Goodell, but you care about Lady Gaga, and she was here a few minutes ago. I wanted to see if I was on the floor, see if I could pick up anything that she might have dropped, but that didn't work. That didn't work here. No. So Rick, give us some perspective. You have been a successful businessman, real estate developer, maven in this community for a number of years, Greater Houston Partnership. Why did you spend so much time running this organization?
Well, because I think, as Jamie said, it's just one of the most incredible events on earth, right? It's the biggest sporting event on the planet, and it gives us the opportunity to create this platform to do a number of things. Jamie talked about the economic development aspect of it, so I won't go there, but here's where I'll go. So one of the most important things for me with the Super Bowl and this platform is bringing the community together. When you think about sports, and the reason I think people love sports so much is that you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's that spontaneity, it's that energy that is created with sports, right? Whether your team wins or loses, you're either elated or, oh my God, my team lost, right? But what it really does is it brings the community together. And you know, in this divided country today, we need things that bring the community together. So right outside these curtains here, we have what's called Super Bowl Live. Super Bowl Live is a fan fest, a family fan fest, free to the public. The Super Bowl host committee put that on in conjunction with the NFL. We co-produced the event together. And as of last night, we had over 500,000 people that came down to Super Bowl Live. Now, when you think about 500,000 people of just different walks of lives, from CEOs to Uber drivers, and they talk about the Super Bowl, and they're all together having a great time. So to me, it's the bringing the community together that is really the most important part, and then the economic stuff is important as well. But to me, that's the really cool part. Jamie talked about memorable experiences, what the Texans are about. And that's what I'm about too. I want to create memorable experiences and peak experiences for people, because in life, what do we have besides hanging out and having fun, right? We're going to work, play, and live, right? So have fun.
How do you quantify that in a business environment other than being, I'm a very successful businessman, and here's my anecdotal evidence. When you talk to mayors about public-private partnerships, it's the easiest to understand and the hardest to quantify. Quality of life, industry relocation, and the like. How do you put a box around it and explain it to people?
Well, you can explain it financially, like business people do. And when you go outside and you see the George R. Brown, and you see the art pieces that are in the George R. Brown, you see the Marriott Marquis Hotel, you see the Partnership Tower, all that is about $500 million of investment that we did. Jamie was a part of that. I was the chairman of the entity that financed that and did all that. And that's all private-public partnerships. And we created a return on investment model and showed the politicians that it made sense and it made money. And then what it did is it created an opportunity for quality of life. When we walk by, for example, a piece of art that cost $1 million, right?
Yeah.
The public doesn't look at it and go, that cost $1 million. I wonder why they spent money like that. What they do is they walk by that piece of art and they go, wow, that's incredible. Yeah. And then they take a selfie and then they send it off to their friends and family and say, look, I'm here having fun, you ought to come. Yeah. And so to me, so what you're able to do is everything has to be viable financially. If you don't have money, there is no mission. Right. I mean, so everything has to be funded. It has to be funded in a rational, reasonable way. And then what happens is the value proposition becomes people have fun, people are enjoying it, and they don't know why. Yeah. And it's because someone thought about it, somebody worked on it, somebody figured out how to finance it, somebody figured out why it made sense to do it, got everybody involved in the community to agree with it. Maybe not all. No. I mean, we do have our recalcitrant folks, yeah. but what happens then at the end of the day is you create this environment that's called quality of life. And when you think about cities, we compete for intellectual capital, people, bodies, people who fill jobs, doctors to help people, heal. We compete with every other city in the world for that talent. And if we don't have a quality of life and making investments in a quality of life, we can't compete for that talent. So that's why it's really important to do.
Really important and a great segue into the financial rationality of all this, because a lot of people take apples, papayas, grapefruits, and they don't do the appropriate comparison. Host committee, independent budget, raises its own money. How long have you been doing it? What's the structure look like? Just give us some of the financial.
Sure, I'll give you. The host committee is like a startup business, and almost like a political campaign, right? Yeah. So what happens is you start out with no money, and we actually started out. We had $18,000 in the bank when we started the bid process, and the bid cost $500,000 to complete. We had a lot of volunteers to do it, so we were basically negative $500,000 when we started in May of 2013. We got the bid. Then we built a business plan around what we needed to fund, how we were going to fund it. We started recruiting people to help us do that. We started finance. One of the big things to start with was fundraising. Yeah.
Nobody really needs or wants home security until it's too late. You've heard the statistics about how many burglaries there are per day. You see the news. You know there are people out there that do bad things. The best way to help protect your home and your property is with an ADT monitored system from Protect Your Home, an ADT authorized premier provider. Call right now to get a free wireless home security system valued at $850. An ADT monitored system can help protect your home from fires, theft, floods, and call for emergency help. Call now to find out more about our $850 free wireless home security system and start enjoying the peace of mind of security today. Call 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281, 800-587-4281. This offer is for new customers only. Termination fees apply. $99 customer installation charge and 36-month monitoring agreement required. All for details. License terms and conditions available at secureathome.com.
1 in 3 relationships start online, and more start on Match than any other dating site. So if you're single and looking to meet people, you've got to get on Match. They're not only number 1 in first dates, but in second dates too. Meeting your match has never been easier. Just go to Match.com/together, and for a limited time, you can try Match for 7 days free. That's 7 days completely free to search and connect with thousands on Match. So go ahead, create your account now at Match.com/together. That's Match.com/together.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Hi, I'm Rick Tittle, and I host the Video Game Review every Sunday night at 9 o'clock Pacific, midnight on the East Coast, right here on the Sports Byline USA Broadcast Network. Video games are way more important than your job, your school, or your relationship, so let's talk about them. Everything from the 2600 to the 360. I don't work for any video game company, so I'll tell you what's worth your money and what stinks. Also, cheat codes, interviews, your calls. I'll give away a game, release dates, all that and more every Sunday night right here on the Sports Byline USA Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. As promised, we return from where we left off. Rick Horrow's live broadcast at the Super Bowl.
Projects that we've completed are lasting a long time. The Marriott Marquis, for example, 1,000-room hotel. We're going to be able to build a convention business that's bigger than it was before. With all this new improvements, they stay after the Super Bowl, and it creates jobs long term for the community, and the promotional aspects are just going to be huge. So that's what I'll say for sure.
Well, and it's in good hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
my friend. It almost doesn't really matter. If I ask you for a prediction, are you too political? Or are you going?
Oh no, I absolutely. Atlanta, 27-21.
Wow. All right, so everybody, his football knowledge may not be great, but his, development and real estate knowledge is pretty good. His organizational knowledge is great. He is a great Pied Piper for the community, and the community is lucky to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I own properties in Atlanta, but not in Boston.
I was just going to say, that's probably just going to ask you about that.
And I have a lot of friends more friends from Atlanta here than Boston.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if are you out of here, or are you going to stick around?
I'm out of here. Good. I'm going to be around.
Okay, I want to catch you, and we'll spend some time together. So
okay, good.
Thank
Absolutely.
you very much.
Thanks.
Give me the mic. We got to get Larry Fine on.
All right, get him on.
And
thank you. Take care.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that.
Bye-bye.
So, every community has a public-private partnership where they work directly with the team as well as the host committee. Well, probably none better than what we've seen in Houston. And what they'll do is do best practices that will then be passed on from community to community, what they've learned before and what they learn after. And I've asked Larry Fine, who is the North American Executive Global Poobah Editor for Reuters. How does that sound?
No.
Not even close.
That sounds pretty good, especially if
but
there's a pay raise that comes in there.
It sounds great, but that's not what you are. What's the title?
Well, I'm the northeastern U.S. correspondent. I'm based in New York.
Okay.
And so, I handle the big sports stories.
You handle the big sports stories, but you have been to the last 7 Super Bowls?
I've been to about 7 Super Bowls, about 20 World Series, about 25 U.S. Open tennises, all the golf majors.
And we see each other from time to time. The reason why I want to do this is to get your perspective, your comparative perspective. So, Super Bowl 50 in Santa Clara, San Francisco was a special one for historical reasons. We go to Minnesota next, and Miami, and Atlanta eventually, and L.A. So we're kind of right in the middle of an interesting cycle. So give me some of your general perspectives and perceptions of this week. What are some of the biggest issues?
Well, here we're right in the middle of downtown. Everything is kind of coordinated. It's been made easy, as far as that goes. The hospitality has been super gracious. Feeding us and giving us stuff to drink, very, very
that's
nice.
By the way, you do notice that's the first thing a media guy talks about.
It's very big to the media. Yeah, it's a very big concern. We're on a per diem, Rick. What I mean? And so we like to get these free meals when we can.
Yes.
But anyway, so the hospitality has been really good, and everything's been convenient, and so it's worked smoothly so far.
Business side, security side. This is after a whole lot of international turbulence, to be sure, and some terrorist issues. Do we feel safe?
Yep. Very safe, very secure, smooth, no complaints there. It's been very good.
Fence around a downtown area bigger than I've seen. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, well, that's a little bit bizarre. That's a little odd. They've, in order to centralize everything the way they've done, and they've succeeded in it, they've basically cut out about, I don't know how many square blocks there are. I mean, 3 or 4 square blocks of downtown, which are big blocks. And they've devoted it to these various fan fest things and bandstand and concessions and all sorts of like a carnival going on in the middle of downtown. So it makes getting around a little bit tricky, a little hard.
Yeah.
But I think that they've drawn a lot of people to it, as I heard Rick say. So I guess that's been good.
Is this, in your mind, and we'll talk to Peter O'Reilly eventually, who runs the Super Bowl for the NFL, is this an over-the-top glorified TV show? Is this a B2B corporate experience? Or is this kind of a once-in-a-lifetime bucket list thing for fans?
Well, I mean, there's no denying the hoopla and the crowds that are drawn into a Super Bowl. I mean, it is a big deal event. There's no question. But I do feel that the NFL, has been sort of packaging things more with an eye towards viewership and TV and exposure that way. And I think they've been giving some of the events a little bit of short shrift in order to package them and put them all together in a tight space. The honors situation on Saturday is shared with the Hall of Famers. Yeah. So I mean, you have the Hall of Famers just brought out on stage, and they're available to us to interview at the same time as the Offensive Rookie of the Year and the Defensive Rookie of the Year are being trotted in front of us, and it's a bit of a three-ring circus instead of giving each its due. And then the same thing with media. The media day used to be earlier in the day. So that we could work on stories from all that material that we get, which is a wonderful opportunity we get. But now it's been packaged into Super Bowl opening night, and it's a big special.
And Roger Goodell moved his press conference this year to Wednesday. Is there any conspiracy about doing it in front of less media than if it would have been Friday?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, there may be, but, it's a funny thing about that one is that they so carefully vet the State of the League address that Mr. Goodell, Commissioner Goodell, does, that it's not available to the media for, 5 hours afterwards, because they're just very careful. And so, it is what it is. It's very, they try to avoid any kind of controversy. They try not to.
It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen, a senior writer's assessment, and that's not the most eloquent thing you'll ever hear, but that's Larry's perspective on it. So, the kind of the bottom line of all this, what generally you've been writing about this week?
Well, another one of the questions that the commissioner artfully dodged, the deflate gate and the personal kind of revenge motif with Tom Brady has been one of the issues. Tom Brady actually has been many-faceted because he's going through personal situations, the health of his mother apparently, and so it's been an emotional week for him, and that's not usually the case for the button-down Patriots, And then you've got the upstart Falcons flying high this season, and Matt Ryan having an MVP year, and they could be a serious team going forward. So, from the competitive side, it looks like it's going to be a very strong Super Bowl.
Prediction?
I kind of like the Patriots in a tight game only because it just means a lot to them. Even though they've been to so many, this is the seventh together for Belichick and Brady. They're far from jaded, though. They take each one of these as an absolutely fresh experience, and they want to win.
Score?
Ooh, it should be fairly high scoring. I would say something like about a 27-23, or could even be, add 5 points to that. It could be into the low 30s.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're silly enough to adjust your over and under based on Larry Fine, he said 50 points, or maybe 55, or maybe somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's about it, Rick. That's about where I put it.
That's what I thought. So, first of all, as we all understand, thank you, Larry, for all this. Nobody really cares what a sports writer predicts. Nobody really cares what a generalist predicts. But I appreciate your time, and I'm gonna give you my 2 50-yard Super Bowl tickets. How's that? No, well, not even close.
On behalf of the Academy, no. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, what's Las Vegas saying, actually?
3.5. So, and we'll see. I mean, it could be a close game. Nobody knows. But the beauty of this is, as Larry said, this is the ultimate reality television show, and we'll see where it goes.
And they have an awful lot of it on the TV on Sunday, right? That's another, what is it, a 4.5 hour?
And when one of the issues we'll talk about maybe next year is when you're at the game, you get an experience that is a bucket list experience, but you don't get to watch the commercials. And that's because of the advertising pre-commitments at NRG Stadium relative to the league, relative to the team. And so, ladies and gentlemen, from my perspective, I've been to 22 straight I'm not sure that's a good thing or not, and I've not seen one commercial. Not one commercial. I'm going to have to rely on your stuff on the commercials.
All right.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay, Rick.
Really appreciate
Always a pleasure.
it. Cool. Give me my microphone back.
All right.
How do I get it?
Oh, I can get it off for you.
Good. Okay. So let's take. Do we have enough time? Are we good? Okay. Again, Vargo Williams, our executive producer. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Appreciate that. We're just going to walk for a minute, and we're going to show you a view that you really don't see normally, which is the Media Center. There we go. No problem. Media Center, Radio Row. So this is the Brown Convention Center. The ballroom that Vargo has panned to before is the location where Roger Goodell has his press conference. And just to give you some perspective, that is, well, let's walk out over here so we can see the media center, where, as I remember it was 7,000 media credentials that are given out on a regular basis. The Radio Row and Television Row starts the Super Bowl Monday. It's winding down now this afternoon. Just want to go out here to walk and kind of show you the hall. It gets bigger with media from all over the world, dignitaries, owners. You saw Jamie Roots come in, and that's the perspective. So if you pan over, Radio Row, Media Row is over there as well. And corporations will activate around this. You'll have superstars from time to time coming in. We have a Pied Piper group of people who are walking here. This looks like somebody you can always tell where there is a celebrity that comes through from time to time. They all follow people.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know who that is. And you could always, by the way, you could always tell here at Super Bowl by the number of red-jacketed security people who are flanking people from time to time. So, all right, that's enough of that experience in this world. Let me just give you some kind of closing perspectives. The Super Bowl has always been a special event. Super Bowl I was televised by 2 networks simultaneously, and the ad costs were $42,000 for a 30-second spot. This year, ads completely sold out well in advance, over 5 million. We're going to have over 150 million people watch, but we don't know how they're going to watch, because they're going to watch on televisions, they're going to watch on mobile devices, and they're going to watch on iPads, etc., and they're going to be streaming. And one of the things we're going to find long term is this will embark on or begin a trend for a new measurement on how Super Bowls get viewed and watched and how other sporting events do. We've had it on our podcast, Keeping Score, and we're going to talk about that a little more. For the city of Houston, you've heard Rick Campo and Jamie Roots, $500 million, 3.5 billion impressions, 20,000 hotel rooms. You can't buy that publicity. For the NFL, on to Minnesota, on to Atlanta, on to Miami, and on to Los Angeles. And the Super Bowl is a very important component of stadium financing and public-private partnerships. Why? Because of 140,000 people are coming into town that otherwise might not, and only 65,000 can come to the stadium. We all understand there is economic impact that nobody can question. So it is a win-win-win situation for everybody. And let me finally conclude by saying this is so prolific that Heinz has launched a campaign to make the Super Bowl an annual holiday, Super Bowl Monday, because they've quantified that 16 million people will call in sick the day after the game. I personally think that's low. Everybody in the sound of my voice needs to hear this. Call in sick on Monday for your employers, because you're not going to be productive anyway, because you're going to be watching a fantastic Super Bowl. I'm Rick Horrow. That's Keeping Score. See you next time. I'm out.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Mega events, the theme this week, as it is basically January, February, March, and April. But now it's time for Bust, Boom, and Hope. The bad, the good, and the creative in the economy. Bust first. Merely months after successfully pulling off the 2016 Summer Olympics, Rio de Janeiro sadly slipped back to its depressing ways. The host city decaying rapidly as once vibrant facilities around the city, now puncturing any uplifting buzz from the competitions. And sadly, the state of Rio, not a foreign one for past Olympic sites. How about boom? The Daytona 500, one of the biggest races of the year, and this year's hotel prices reflect just that. The Daytona 500 set to become the most expensive sporting event of 2017, more expensive than the College Football National Championship in Tampa, more expensive than the Super Bowl in Houston. Peak hotel price across the Daytona area, 160 hotels, $521 per night. In comparison, the average Super Bowl 51 hotel price, $379, $287 for the College Football National Championship. But it's probably good for the economics overall, at least the right direction. And now hope. The NBA D-League signed a new sponsor, have a new name. The D-League becomes the NBA Gatorade League, the G League next season after signing an entitlement with Gatorade. The entitlement deal, on-court signage, new logo appearing on the league's digital platforms. The official league ball features the G League logo, marketing a total rebranding of the NBA's subdivision. Financial terms not disclosed, but it marks the extension of Gatorade's NBA league-wide sponsorship, dating back for more than 30 years. First time a major professional stick and ball league in the U.S. has been named for an entitlement partner. The latest step in NBA creative corporate partnering, jersey patch deals pioneered by StubHub in Philly, then Blue Diamond in Sacramento, then GE in Boston, then Infor in Brooklyn. Now, borrowing from the former Barclays Premier League, the NBA Gatorade League. Under Adam Silver's leadership, more to come. That's our show for the day. We'd like to thank Rick Campo. We'd like to thank Jamie Roots, my producer Tanner Simpkins, for putting this all together. And thank you for listening. And join us next week when we talk about Daytona and other issues when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.